Okay, so this is a quick story about how I almost met Elvis. And so my brother Tommy and I were playing ping pong in the garage. We were playing ping pong back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We were both about as good as each other, but he was certainly a little better than I was. But we were having, massive game ping pong. And I remember I could look and see in the kitchen, and the phone rang, and my dad answers the phone. So my dad, great man, answers the phone, and even though we're playing ping pong, I'm aware of what's going on. And I see him, and I hear him, and the conversation from his side of the phone goes like this. It goes, "Hello? Yeah. Hey. Who? Really? Wow. Can I bring my sons?" He looks out at us and he goes, got interrupted by a phone call. All right, so he looks at us and he goes, "Oh, okay." So then he comes out in the garage while we're playing, and he's Tommy and I are playing. We stop and it's like, "What's going on, Dad?" And he goes, "Our friend, the doctor, foot doctor, just called, and he was Elvis's foot doctor." Elvis apparently had ingrown toenails, and typical Elvis, and he's coming over to his office. And he's coming over to his office at 10 o'clock at night. You know how Elvis is. He used to do things when nobody was there, and take his buddies and go rent out the whole movie theater, and it'd only be them seeing the movie, or they close the whole department store, so Priscilla could run around the whole store and buy whatever she wants, and Elvis just takes over whatever he dealt with. So that night he was taking over the foot doctor's office, man, at 10 o'clock p.m. And so apparently my dad was asking, his friends calling him saying, "You want to come meet him? You want to come meet him? You want to meet Elvis?" Everybody wants to meet Elvis. A lot of people in Memphis, how I met Elvis story, or I met Elvis story, or I knew Elvis, or I knew somebody that hung out with Elvis story, or everybody's got an Elvis story in Memphis. I have a how I almost met Elvis story, because the guy said, "Well, maybe you can bring one of them." You bring one of them, but there's two of us playing ping pong. So like I said, that's my how I almost met Elvis story. I didn't get picked. Out of two people, I didn't get picked. Tommy got to go. I didn't get to go. Tommy got an autograph. I didn't get to go. I asked Tommy, I said, "Tommy, what was it like meeting Elvis?" And he goes, "Well, he was a nice guy. He took off his ring." He goes, "See that ring? It says TCB. You know what that means? Taking care of business." And so I was like, "Tommy, how was Elvis? What was it like?" And he said, "Well, he was a pretty nice guy, considering he's getting his toe worked on." And he looks over and is like, "Who the hell are these two people? What's the point of them?" So anyway, I didn't get to go meet Elvis. I think but anyway, that's all I got on Elvis. I did make an awesome best of. I never knew much about Elvis. Was always kind of around it. I will tell you, I rooted for the fat Elvis stamp. The sweaty Elvis with the Hawaii lays, and the Hawaiian shirt, and that Elvis. That's the stamp I wanted. That's the Elvis I remember. And it lost. The younger stamp is the one that won. I wanted the older Elvis stamp to win. Never knew much about Elvis, but I know a lot of people just think the world of him. One of my favorite musicians, Greg Lake, as you all know, reveres Elvis, and plays an Elvis acoustic guitar. Greg Lake, man who can do no wrong, loves Elvis. So I love Elvis. How about that? But anyway, somebody I really admire, Randy Bozeman. Randy Bozeman's from Florence, Alabama. His mother passed away, and his mother loved Elvis music, and I knew Randy was going to be driving him and his family down to Florence, Alabama to his mother's funeral, and I wanted Randy to have some Elvis music to listen to. So I kind of went on a rampage and I asked, certainly never knew anything about Elvis in the 50s, so I asked some older guys. Johnny Zachary, who was an Elvis impersonator that played drums. He was an Elvis impersonator that played drums and entertained senior citizens at old folks' homes in Louisiana. And I met Johnny Zachary at a trade show. He sold some type of industrial refining equipment or something. I met him at a conference down in New Orleans. Johnny Zachary, he's got it all. Johnny Z. Anyway, and I asked Johnny Z, I said, Johnny, what are some of your favorite Elvis songs? And I mean, he came up with some that I'd never heard of in my life. And so I said, wow, I can't imagine anybody being a bigger fan than you. And for you to select those songs, I'm going to start the album off with it. Well, I mean, a DZ mix. So I made a DZ mix for Randy Bozeman's sake. And the ulterior motive is I wanted to have it for myself. And you can't just make 1 hour of the best of Elvis. I think it's about 3 hours long, so it's a 3 DZ mix series. I'm going to make it available in the comments. And it's really a collection of the best songs that people that I know really, who I respect and that really like Elvis, that they selected themselves. So I hope you like that. Also, Ray Preston, Marine from Long Island. He told me some of his favorites from the 50s. And everybody kind of knows the good old hits from the 60s. And I even remember some of the ones from the 70s. But I hope you'll like my DZ mix of Elvis. And this is pretty much the end of my How I Almost Met Elvis story. Tommy, I'm glad you got to meet him. And Tommy got an autograph out of the deal. And let me know if I left out any good songs after you listen to all 3 hours of the DZ mix of Elvis's best. And it is really good. But that's pretty much the way that I learn about new music, is when other people either request something or ask about something or tell me they need something, like, you know, I need a copy of this, or I haven't been able to hear that, or I haven't been able to find that. If somebody I likes something, turns out I usually like it too. And it expands my horizon as you expand my horizon, and we all expand our horizons together. Okay, love y'all, and see you soon. I love you, Mom. And I like making these little music videos because I know my mom at least watches them. I love my mom. What a great 5 kids. Amazing. I'm number 4. See ya.